Madam Speaker, it is once again my pleasure to report on government's perspective of where we are and where we intend to go along our path towards an even better Botswana. In this journey, government's goals have always been constant. We continue to seek a Botswana where sustained development is achieved through inclusive, diversified economic growth that further advances us to a high income status. As Democrats, we remain committed to ensuring that our citizens are politically and socially, as well as economically empowered to live dignified lives. We are steadfast in our commitment that the custodians of our future, our talented youth, possess the moral and intellectual discipline as well as material means to take full advantage of emerging opportunities while overcoming any challenges they may face in this ever-changing globalized world. We thus envision a society in which we all share in the resources of our homeland through common values as well as rights and responsibilities. As our resources are finite, we must focus on our national priorities, which include accelerated job creation, the eradication of abject poverty, and the provision of quality education. We will also have to continue to commit considerable resources to improving healthcare, including the war on HIV and AIDS. Given current circumstances, we further recognize an urgent need to improve the capacity and management of our water supply, while at the same time moving beyond the outages we have hitherto experienced as we become an energy surplus nation. As we begin the countdown to the 50th anniversary of our republic, let us accept that we have reached a stage where a major choice must be made. We can either become more productive by working together to reach our goals, or we can allow individual desires and potentially debilitating divisions rob us of further progress. As a nation, we can only achieve our full potential if our individual interests remain subordinate to the national interest. Our greatest strength over the past 5 decades has been our capacity to find common ground in our planning. This administration has, in this respect, consistently sought consensus by reaching out to all sections of the public through our various well-known forums of consultation. This has given us a clear roadmap to guide us to our destination. Madam Speaker, it is in the nature of any journey to be confronted with emerging challenges beyond one's control, such as the onset of drought or the current global economic trends, which have been characterized by greater market volatility. As was reflected in the abrupt fall in the price of most mineral commodities, including diamonds, earlier this year. It is in this context that the government further recognized the need to take bold, proactive measures to stimulate the local economy while quickening the pace of public sector delivery. The Economic Stimulus Program, ESP, that I unveiled last month is a holistic action plan for achieving the goals of stimulating economic growth, accelerated employment creation, and the promotion of economic diversification. The following have been identified as key sectors that will drive the program: infrastructure, agriculture, tourism and manufacturing and services, enabled by the establishment of special economic zones and the economic diversification drive. In addition to stimulating inclusive economic growth, a key ESP objective is to reboot government to ensure the urgent delivery of existing national priorities. The program thus targets key areas where there is a backlog of public projects, as well as labor-intensive opportunities to promote local enterprise. ESP implementation will thus further focus on accelerated land servicing, boosting local manufacturing and services with increased citizen participation, road construction, achieving food security and job creation through improved agricultural production, kickstarting economic activities in rural areas, improved education and healthcare through the upgrading of facilities, and leveraging ICT for the creation of an e-society through expanded e-services. To further oversee this delivery, ESP is being coordinated by His Honour the Vice President, who is being assisted by a Cabinet Subcommittee supported by a Technical Committee and District Development Committees. To strengthen the overall coordination of local delivery, District Commissioners will report on progress directly to the Ministry State President. In addition, the delivery of ESP will be facilitated by a high-level project implementation unit. I expect that very shortly a brochure outlining all the aspects of the ESP will be made available to the public. The economic outlook. Madam Speaker, the introduction of ESP is consistent with the need for us to constantly adjust to changing economic circumstances. Unfortunately, we still find ourselves in a post-2008 global economy that is characterized by slower growth and greater uncertainty. Having weathered the initial storms of the downturn, we had hoped for a more robust and stable global market than currently prevails for our exports and services. In this regard, the latest indicators suggest a decline in the demand for our diamonds during the second half of the current financial year. And this decline will be even greater than what we experienced in 2008-2009. The latest estimates from Statistics Botswana indicate that in real terms, the domestic economy expanded in 2014 by 4.4%, as compared to 9.3% in 2013, due to decreased growth in both mining and non-mining sectors. Growth in the mining sector was 4.5% last year, down from an exceptional 23.9% registered in 2013, resulting from a general decline of commodity prices, including weakened demands for diamonds. The non-mining sector also registered a lower growth at 4.4% in 2014, as compared to 6.8% in 2013, with the challenges of the water and electricity sectors being especially difficult. According to the latest IMF World Economic Outlook, their reports suggest a modest growth rate of 3.1%, which is projected for the world economy this year, 2015. Due to the steeper than originally projected slowdown in mineral revenue, our expected domestic economic growth has also been adjusted downwards to only 2.6% this year. Madam Speaker, I am however pleased to note that in 2015, our domestic inflation rate continued to fall within the Bank of Botswana's target range of 3 to 6%, with monthly inflation ranging from 2.8% and 3.6% during the first half of this year. This trend is expected to continue in the coming months, due in part to lower fuel prices. For its part, the Bank of Botswana has pursued an accommodative monetary policy, lowering its bank rate to 6%, thus reducing the cost of borrowing. In January 2015, the weights of the currencies in the Pula basket was revised to 50% South African Rand and to 50% for SDR currencies, based on inflation differentials, while a zero annual rate of call of the Pula exchange rate was implemented for the year. The exchange rate between the Pula and the SDR currencies has had a positive impact on our foreign exchange reserves, which as of August 2015 were estimated at 87.8 billion Pula, which is a 16.3% increase from what it was at 75.5 billion Pula in August last year. Of the total amount in August 2015, the government investment account, which is government savings, was at almost 40 billion pula. A combination of these savings and borrowing, especially domestic borrowing, can provide additional funds to stimulate our economy. Any use of savings and borrowings will be done prudently to ensure the continued sustainability of our fiscal situation. Coming to budget and planning, Madam Speaker, insofar as government's budget, an important factor in our country's development, continued financial prudence remains crucial. For the 2014-15 financial year, the total expenditure and net lending was 50.56 billion pula, which was 95% of the revised budget estimate at 53.2 billion. Out of this, recurrent expenditure amounted for 37.5 billion, while development expenditure was at 13.07 billion. This was a significant increase in development expenditure compared to the 8.9 billion spent in 2013-14. The overall fiscal balance for the 2014 financial year was a budget surplus of 5.3 billion pula compared to a surplus of 7.2 billion in 2013-14. On job creation, Madam Speaker, this government has no greater priority than the urgent need to reduce unemployment and underemployment, including amongst our youth. In this respect, EDD, now supported by ESP, remains a key instrument for growing jobs as well as the economy. Since its inception in 2010, EDD has been facilitating employment-generating business opportunities by leveraging public procurement in support of domestic industries, with additional support for youth entrepreneurs. This has resulted in the purchase of a total of 17, almost 18 billion pulas worth of goods and services, including 1.1 billion pula for the first 2 quarters of 2015-16 financial year. The number of EDD registered enterprises now stands at 1,425, which collectively contribute to the employment of over some 40,000 Botswana. To further facilitate local production and consumption, all of government, including local authorities and parastatals, have been directed to purchase locally produced products from locally based manufacturers, service providers, and agricultural producers. Procuring entities can only procure products from other sources, locally or from outside the country, where there is a need, and only in exceptional circumstances where justification is given. To further stimulate job creation, government has adopted an accelerated program for job creation focused on key areas that have a high potential for labor-intensive economic growth. In addition to EDD and the ESP targeted areas of agriculture, tourism, and infrastructure, our efforts to stimulate the economy will be given additional impetus through the establishment of special economic zones as geographically defined economic areas providing investor-friendly business environments. Having passed the enabling legislation, we are now establishing a special economic zone authority. The authority will oversee these zones, which in turn will facilitate private sector growth through the creation of value-added economic opportunities generated by local business synergies. Industries expected to evolve in these areas include light manufacturing, applied ICT, energy and mineral beneficiation, pharmaceuticals, financial services, and agribusiness and food processing. A special economic zone for Kasane, Kazungula will, for example, cater for expanded tourism, construction, transport services, and market access for local agriculture that will result from the construction of the road and rail bridge at Kazungula and the water pipeline to Panamateng, along with associated infrastructure. Additional ZDSs will enhance already ongoing developments, such as Libepikwe's transformation as a metallurgical hub, the expansion of financial and innovative technological services in Gaborone, Francistown's projected growth as a nexus for trade and transport, and the establishment of the Lever Park in Lobatse, amongst others. Madam Speaker, job creation is inevitably linked to investment. In this respect, the Botswana International Trade Center continues to promote our country as a competitive location for investment. During the 2014-15 financial year, BITC helped realize a total combined investment capital of just over 3.2 billion pula, which contributed to the creation of 3,300 jobs. Our job creation efforts are also being driven by the Rural Development Council, which continues to promote various community-based projects. Business startups will also continue to receive critical support from SEDA, which since 2008 has funded 2,288 enterprises with a total value of nearly 2.1 billion pula, in the process creating over 11,000 jobs. During the 2014-15 financial year, SEDA assisted 329 new enterprises with a total monetary value of 328 million pula, collectively generating 1,900 jobs, new jobs. The Local Enterprise Authority, LEA, is also playing its role in nurturing a culture of entrepreneurship through its training workshops and outreach monitoring. In 2014-15, 24,426 clients were trained, while a further 472 benefited from additional outreach. Turning to land management, Madam Speaker, the equitable and efficient distribution of land is a crucial and critical factor for realizing economic opportunities and social well-being. But unfortunately, the shortage of service land has in recent years all too often proved to be a bottleneck rather than an enabler for development. As part of our economic stimulus program, we now intend to fast-track the servicing of 37,000 commercial, industrial, residential and other plots beginning in this financial year. And these efforts will be facilitated by the establishment of the Land Information Center resulting from the Land Administration Process Capacity Building and Systems Project, LABCAS. With tourism, Madam Speaker, government is committed to ensuring that tourism's contribution to local job creation and citizen empowerment, as well as to GDP, continues to increase. Besides being the highest economic revenue earner after minerals, the tourist sector already accounts for over 35,000 jobs. To create further employment as part of ESP, we are focusing on the Kasane Kazungula redevelopment project, which will upgrade Kasane as a premier tourist center, while establishing Kazungula as a key center for transport and logistics. Additional tourist projects and infrastructures across the country will be boosted by the ESP, include dams tourism, cultural and ecotourism, conferences and events, along with the hospitality sector, which will together bring a facelift to this country. There's also been diversification in the CBNRM product, with some communities engaging in projects that utilize monuments and heritage sites. New tourism sites are currently being assessed with local communities for development in such areas as the Central Kalahari and Kutse game reserves. We are further enhancing awareness about our country's different tourism projects through strategic marketing and promotion initiatives and partnerships, including daily outreach through our BW government social media. The Botswana Tourism Organization has further partnered with National Geographic for the World Legacy Awards 2016 and the International Travel Bourse Berlin as a partner country for 2017. In addition, Lonely Planet recently listed Botswana as its #1 must-see destination for 2016. These partnerships and positive developments will further enhance the growth in our tourism sector. Government also continues to facilitate sports and adventure as well as culture-based events across the country. All these events recorded significant growth in terms of spectator numbers and associated economic spin-offs. Turning to agriculture, Madam Speaker, the economic stimulus program is expected to stimulate local production through integrated farming by, amongst other things, horticulture development with components of an agro-processing plant, electrification to various sites, irrigation infrastructure rehabilitation, grey water use in a number of locations around the country for a number of new horticulture projects. In existing production areas, the provision of electricity and road infrastructure, the outsourcing of the identification and traceback system, more provision of agricultural service centers, providing strategic incentives including guaranteed market access for local producers, both commercial and small scale, and to facilitate market access through the formation of production clusters and marketing cooperatives. Madam Speaker, the 2014 cropping season experienced drought conditions, which resulted in complete crop failure in many areas. The total area planted during the 2014-15 ploughing season decreased by 28%, while the total number of farmers who took part in arable farming also decreased by 37%. The national estimated cereals production for 2014-15 is estimated to stand at 68,000 metric tons, which is only 22% of the national cereal requirement of 300,000 metric tons. The whole country was therefore declared drought-stricken following the 2014-15 Drought and Household Food Security Assessment exercise. To this end, government has adopted relief measures for the period from July this year to June 2016 to assist affected Botswana. However, despite the poor rains, there were a number of farmers who improved their productivity through the adoption of methods such as the use of fertilizers, hybrid seeds, and row planting. The special ISPAD program targeting Kalahari, Hansi, and parts of the Kweneng and southern districts is being implemented. With respect to the Livestock Management and Infrastructure Development Project, LIMIT, as of June 2015, a cumulative total of 15,335 applicants had benefited, including 7,754 youth. Poultry and small stock abattoirs construction is progressing, with an abattoir in Palape at 80% completion, while a tender for works has been awarded for the Tsabong multi-species abattoir. Botswana's beef industry continues to grow as the mainstay of our agriculture. Turnover at the Botswana Meat Commission, the BMC, for 2014 reached 1.16 billion pula from a slaughter of 1,444.83 cattle, which is an increase of 80 million pula over the